we'll go from there. First of all, we just are blown away over the response we've got. We got about maybe 20 hours of, and I'm not kidding, 20 hours of feedback from different people who were there. I mean, I talked with people for hours, from Diane Walker to J.R. Glover from Jacob's Pillow to people that came in from Detroit who were promoting it, who want to promote the show in Detroit. I mean, it's overwhelming, the amount of feedback that we got. We're going to add 2 scenes to the show, just 2 smaller ones, one in the beginning, one at the end. And we're going to keep everything the same. Now, the biggest feedback that we got was keep the cast. So that's huge. And then some other feedback that went along with that was add some dancers in whatever city you go to, get some more folks involved so that you can fill in those big numbers in the beginning, the middle of the show, which is the power scene, and then the end of the show. That was pretty big too, for people to give us that feedback. And then lastly, there has been a lot of talk about even more specialized performances with, for instance, the twins. There was some talk about after the church scene that we should let them go ahead and dance together, and just let them go all out. So that's what is being talked about too, and that would replace having to have a preacher do the dance. So we're looking at other people to come in as well, who will be secondaries, like Jason Samuels has been talked about. We've talked about Domisha Sambri coming in. Diane Walker has sat me down and said, look, we got Maurice in the canon, you got Jason that can hit that, you got Domisha that can hit that. So she's going to be linking me up. And these are people that I've worked with before. So it'll be great to have a conversation with Jason, be great to have a conversation with Domisha. Derek Grant and Demisha are performing this weekend in New Hampshire. I might go see them, that way I can have the conversation right there with Domisha. Maybe Derek Grant as well as a possibility. So we have tap dancers. We have tons of tap dancers that can be a part of this. What Jacob's Pillow said was that they would just connect us with more modern and African dancers in those markets where we go to, because there's a huge amount of modern and African dancers that could very well come right into this show and do it. So, I mean, there's ways in which we can fill in the energy of the evening to make it really spectacular. Right now, we have 7 organizations that want to book the show for 2023, and what we're doing is we set up there's an organization out of Chicago, Illinois, that is building out our business model for the nonprofit. So we're going to have 2 pieces happening. We're going to have a piece called the We Move in Color Collaborative. And then we're going to have, of course, the business, which is We Move in Color Manager LLC. And so the We Move in Color Collaborative is going to do all the stuff that big, corporations do. It's a multi-million-dollar organization that's putting this together for us. So that's huge, big, really big. And what they see is that this is going to go the next level. The kind of response we got, this is a hit show that can tour for a long time. So a lot of what you all experienced, I think I said this in the last video, a lot of what you all experienced was because we, only 4 of us really, were organizing everything. And we did that because we had to. No one knew the show. No one knew what we were doing. So we had to be the ones to go forward and do that. That is going to change. All the feedback that we got from the dancers. Remember, I told you now, the walls have ears. So I was able to get 80 to 90% of what you all were talking about in terms of your comfort level, things that were not clear, what's going on, any kind of confusion people have. I was able to get that feedback from Cheryl, Maxine, and Maurice. And that was really helpful for us because that's what's going to push us going forward in the way that needs to be done. That being said, what I want to do now is just go around and just have different people talk about your experience, talk about some of the wonderful things I talked with most of your people. Like your people were more excited. It was almost like you all were laid back and your people were going bananas. So let's just start with Jaden and Ellis. I talked with your dad a little bit, but man, go on and just tell me how you all enjoyed the night.
Well, yeah, like in the experience, how people say you got to stay calm in those sort of situations. It was, first off, it's exciting. You can't really get starstruck over it because, you got a job to do. So, I try my best to not be so like, oh my God, I really wanted to be like, oh my God, I'm in the show. I'm here. We made it. Let's go. Because then if I did that, I feel like I wouldn't have been able to be like, okay, now it's time to work. But, yeah, my dad's really excited about it. My parents are really excited about it. My friends are really excited. My African-American history teacher, I told him about the show and he liked the concept and he was excited he's excited for the eventual, I think it's the documentary or the filmed show that we could do. I said, that's a possibility. He said he'd want to see that, as well as my financial literacy teacher, both Black men. So, it's a lot of, especially a lot of the Black people that I told about it have been really, really excited about it. Like not exclusively Black people, but just mostly Black people. So yeah, the experience was great. It was nice living away from my parents for a little bit, being in a hotel, not having to wake up at 6:30 in the morning to go to school. Get up at a decent time, get up at a decently good time to where I'm ready and energized for the day, and that was good. So yeah, I really liked the experience, but yeah, I didn't want to be, really, really starstruck, and I tried to really bask it in at the actual day. When people were in the lobby, and you had state senators and other people like that talking about the show, like the success that it was going to be because it was before the show actually started. Like I was like, man, that was the moment I basked in it just a little bit before we went on and changed for the show.
To be honest, okay, so I have this like thing a lot, and I don't know if other people have it too, where you don't really realize the gravity of the situation until you see how it affects other people. You know what I mean? Like I went in thinking, "Oh, we're doing a show, great, right?" But I didn't realize that it was so big because we had again talking about it. We had senators talk about all these people come out and see it. We have voters, right? So it's like a really big deal. You know what I mean? And then I realized, oh, okay, so we're actually great. Right? I mean, I knew we were doing something great before, but now I know other people are going to enjoy it too. You know what I mean? But I really enjoyed performing in a theater. I thought it was great. It was beautiful. I really like the show, right? The show is amazing itself. The family enjoys it. The people I talk to about it, they enjoy it. They're going to enjoy it too. A lot of people want to see it at JPAC, right? The people I talk to, they're like, yeah, let's go out. Let's make it an event, right? And yeah, I think it was just a great start. I think it was a great, like we got like a whole jump forward. Now we can continue doing what we want to do. Right? And because of all the attention it's getting, I think it's really going to go far. And I think it's just going to be one of those things that in history people can look back on and be like, oh yeah, we move in color. You know what I mean?
I mean, it was great. For me, it was my first, I would say, serious show. My first show that really moved people emotionally. And I've never really had that experience before. So it was really nice after the show, going up to people, talking to them, hearing what they had to say about the show. Yeah, I mean, it was pretty great. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, this was a very fascinating experience. Like this, I've been in a couple theatrical productions. Like, not my first rodeo. And one thing that we did not have was time. And we played a dangerous game. And I don't think that other casts could have pulled off what we did with the amount of time we had. Like, I think it's like for every minute of the show, you do like an hour of rehearsing. We did not do that. I think we did like an hour of rehearsing for like every person in the cast. And we pulled off something that was really like impressive, and like it came together really quickly. And like, I don't think many other casts could have done that. So shout out to y'all. Like, it was like 2 p.m. and we're like, yo, like our tap tissues are too loud, like we can't hear anything. And it seemed real stressful, but I've never been in a production that didn't come together, and I don't think I ever will be. So like, I don't know, like good on y'all, because it was pretty awesome.
Yeah, it was a awesome, experience for me as well. As I mentioned, when we all first met each other over the summer, I've danced before. I've done about 15 to 20 numbers a night and only rehearsed, during the school year process, which is 9 to 10 months of the year. But to do everything crammed in and work professional hours, that was completely new for me. And, I would have never thought for me personally that I could take on as much, art full responsibility in that capacity. But to do it with you guys was a huge blessing. It definitely was. And, you guys are such hardworking, beautiful people. And I hope to continue with you guys. And, I'm excited for We Move in Color, for us to do things, all around the world, as we were talking about before. I'm definitely excited for that.
For one, I'm so sorry I was late. I had the times wrong.
That's okay.
So if you see a couple of us strolling at 7:30, we all had the times wrong.
Okay.
Yeah, we did something. We did something. I think, as everyone else is saying, it came to get like, I wouldn't have imagined it to come together any more beautifully than it did. And I'm so proud of all of us. Every ounce of feedback I got was great. They wanted to see more. It was over and they didn't want to get up. One of my aunts flew in from the islands, and it was her first time ever seeing me perform. And she was like, I have to be at every time it plays now. So the feedback they gave was great. They loved it. So look forward to seeing my mom and the whole family at every location, because they will be there. Wow. And we'll wait to get back to it.
I'll start by saying my mother was super excited. She's still excited. Saying, we moving colors. I'm like, Mom, take we moving color. We had a great time. My family had a great time. My mom is still talking about it. I think that one of the biggest words in here is trust. And I say trust because from the beginning, Wyatt, you put your trust in all of us to make this dream and this work come to life. And we put our trust in you to trust the vision that you had for everything. And as well as, with the choreographers, I think that we all saw something, but you had the bigger, picture for what you went to school for. You had the biggest picture in your head. And I knew, and I had a feeling, we all had the gut feeling, even with, the unknown, that it would come together beautifully. And after the show, during the performance, all of the feedback was just an enlightening moment for all of us, I think. And I think that the cast, what really made it work in the little time that we, came to the production was we all came and meant business. And I think that that's important, no matter, the ages we were and, whatever we was going through when we got there, whatever rehearsals we had, we came and we meant business. And, you put that, that need in us to want to work hard and want to put our best foot forward. And you always put your best foot forward, and I think that trickled down on us. So I appreciate that. And Robbie, thank you. Definitely, dance captain, you were amazing. Max, Maurice, I don't know if everybody's here. Cheryl, thank you. The cast. I just can't wait for what's next. I went to work because, I was out for the weekend. One of my friends, I told him about it. He told his dad about it, who also works there, and his dad told everybody about it. So now when I come to work, they're like, "Oh, here's the famous guy here. Here's the actor. Here's the everything." So I play dominoes at lunchtime. So they always talk about, "Oh, when you're gonna have the production over here?" Then there's one guy that's kind of big, and it's like, well, he needs to be in the cast too because he needs to lose some weight. So it's like we always have some jokes and everything now. So that's gonna be forever talked about.
First of all, what's going on, guys?
Hey.
I've seen some of you in a minute. Brian got hair braided. I'm with it, but yeah, it was live. I'm not gonna lie, it was live. That was one of the most it felt like we was about to do the Super Bowl or something like the lead up to it. The way Robbie spoke at the dinner, it was just everything leading up to it was just getting us ready for war. I continuously felt like I was putting eye paint on spiritually. We was there, we was locked in like that. So I'm appreciative of that. I think the intercession we did with the woman whose daughter passed, that was that made the show what it was, in my opinion. Y'all, that's my unpopular opinion, but that was the final icing on we about to do this for me. So other than that, it was an amazing I came off the stage saying I could do this in a different state tomorrow. I can do this on the road can you guys hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Looking at okay. Yeah, the travel thing was it was just very thorough for me. It was good. I'm good. I feel happy about it. I want more. But
I definitely felt like I was moving in color.
That's right.
Overall, I think everything went about as well as we could have hoped for. We had a lot of challenges that week and some technical issues and whatnot, but it's just like the saints would always say, right? When the enemy is busy, that means you're on the precipice or you're getting ready for a breakthrough. So, I count it all joy when we come into situations like that and we're able to keep pressing and overcome and push through it in order to deliver what we set out to deliver, which was a really strong and powerful show with a great narrative. I was gauging the reaction from people after the show too, and the audience members and some of the things that they were saying. And there was a sense of sincerity and appreciation for what we brought to them. There's a story that is not often told in the way that we told it, and for people to see themselves represented on the stage, right? In a way that uplifts as well as tells the history of who we are and what we've been through. And for me, that was the biggest positive takeaway, is knowing that it resonated and it hit its mark, because that's what true art is supposed to do, right? Everyone may interpret it a little differently. They may walk out with different feelings or experiences, but at the end of the day, it hit its mark. And I think it did that across age spectrums, gender, every single person walked away feeling proud that they saw themselves represented on that stage. And so I just am grateful for that, and for all of these incredible people that were part of this production, all of the dancers and the cast. You guys killed it. And I could not be more proud to have shared the stage with you.
Man, I couldn't agree with everyone more. You all are some amazing human beings. And, from day one, no one knew what the end result was going to be specifically, but we kind of had an idea that this was an important story to be told. And from the day that we first met, the Destinies and Solomon and Judah and some of you guys were, from that day to October the 6th, an amazing transformation took place, right? To Wyatt's vision on how all of this came together and the hours we spent talking on the phone and so forth and so on, everything manifested at the right time. And all of you were professional. You all have an amazing chemistry together. And that's something that was expressed to us, by people who know a little bit of Broadway, they know a little bit of theater, they know a little bit of performing. And it was very magical, from my perspective, from where I sit, when you're embarking on something this ambitious, you always run the risk of, not necessarily hitting your target or getting just where, just beneath the target. I think we expected to have a good showing. We expected to have something that was going to be meaningful. What we got was a little bit more than that. And that is a tribute to each one of you that played a tremendous role. I mean, individually, I can talk to each one of you and tell you exactly, how critical you showing up was. And everyone showed up. And that was really, really important. So kudos to you guys. I think we're going to share a lot more. I think Wyatt already started to maybe give you an idea of what we're trying to do now so that this becomes something of a staple in our country. I don't, that's the ambitious sort of thinking out loud idea, is that it becomes something that everybody becomes familiar with, and it gives you all a place in a historical landscape. So I'm going to stop there, but I'm really, really proud. We look at this. I don't know if you've seen the video yet, but hopefully we'll show you guys the video. So
I'm going to show them. I'm going to show them.
So we'll do that, and you'll get a taste of that moment again. So appreciate all the effort that went into this, and again, we couldn't have been more proud. People are still talking. You could not imagine the impact that people have begun to express, with how much this has touched them, not just as a performance, but deep in their soul. And that's beyond the average. And so that's a huge deal. So I'll stop there for now.
So what I'm going to do is calm down and tell you all what's happening. All right. Let me just tell you what my experience was quickly, a 30-second version. I had two people that I watched every second of being backstage. I watched Zach, who's the youngest, and I watched Anita. More, younger, seasoned woman. And I watched how they prepared themselves. I was studying them, because there's two different worlds that were coming together to do this show. Zach, hip hop, tap dance, New York, Harlem, from South Africa. Here's Anita Faye from, the West Coast, family from Mississippi, all of the different stories and narratives I've heard. Those two worlds coming together, I watched them. And what I saw was professionalism from both perspectives, if you can think of it as like a spectrum. Two totally different sides of the spectrum of professionalism. And it blew me away to watch them prepare for the show. It got me excited because I'm seeing Anita, who had a one little spot that she stayed in over on stage right. And every time I looked over there, she was just moving. She was making sure things were right. Then I looked at Zach. He had his little spot in the corner, and he was focused on getting ready. And I knew by the time we got ready to get ready to do the show, like half hour, I knew we were going to have a hit show. I just felt it. So the experience is obvious. We all saw what happened. We all heard the audience. We all saw the 5-minute standing ovation. We saw them respond to all the things we wanted them to respond to. You can't pay for that. You cannot pay for it. It has to be embedded in the story. It has to be embedded in the people telling the story. There's no way you can pay for it. I've seen multi-million-dollar shows do nothing with audiences. Here we have a launch that had a 5-minute standing ovation. So I want to say to all of you, the reason why that happened was because of you, and because you embodied the story. Now, yes, God had everything to do with it. Don't get it twisted. And he put it in you to tell the story. And that ain't going to change. What's in you ain't going to change. It's only going to get better. So don't think it was luck. Don't think the sun was just right and the moon was just right and the audience was just right and all of those outside exterior things. It's you. Trust me, it's you. So I really want you to hear that, okay? If anything you leave out of here tonight knowing is that you are We Move in Color. You are the reason why they were on their feet, standing for 5 minutes, applauding and yelling and all that stuff. That being said, I got a phone call from the executive director of the program that I did over at Harvard. She said a bunch of people from the program were there. And this one woman called her and said, the play changed my life. I get a text message from Dr. Linda Nathan, who is the big shot I'm talking about. And she said, what did you conjure up? Because this woman went with a bunch of other people and she said the show changed her life. That's one. Two, I'm in Dudley Station working on a flash mob with Reverend Liz Walker, who's a very big deal in our lives. And she's the first Black woman to be an anchor on a major television before Oprah. So her and Oprah were like doing their thing simultaneously. And we're doing a flash mob a few days after the show. This woman walked up to me and she goes, and she opens up her shirt, opens up her jacket, and she has on the shirt. And she goes, baby, that was, and she went into this whole narrative. And she said, I've washed this shirt twice. I've worn it for 3 days. This is the third day I've worn it. That's another one. Last story, and I'm done. I go to this church because we were supporting a friend of ours who was doing a sermon. It's where Martin Luther King used to preach when he was in Boston. Historic church. This elderly woman walks up to me and goes, she grabs me by my hand. I was there. I was there. And I said, you were where? She said, I was at the show. We Dance in Color. And I said, yeah, We Move in Color. Yeah, that's right. We Move in Color. And she said, honey, when it comes back, I'm bringing all my friends. Now, let me tell you the significance of all three of those, and I'll be really off the mic. Boston doesn't give people that. It's a very tough market to get even people to clap. Trust me. Brian knows this. Boston does not budge. We got a 5-minute standing ovation in Boston. That's all I got to say with that. I'm going to now show you the video. And this 3-minute video is, again, just to let you know, his other job in the recording arts industry he makes music videos for uprising or emerging artists who just got signed to record labels. So he also does that. So he has, this multi-million-dollar studio that he built as an addition to his house in Seattle. So he has all the bells and whistles. He doesn't have to go to LA to record. He doesn't have to go to New York to record. He can do multi-platinum albums from his house. So he has edited the footage, turned it into a 3-minute information reel, because what we're going to be doing now is giving this video to the people who are interested in booking the show, so they can now see finally what we're talking about.
So my name is Robbie Thomas. I want to say I am extremely delighted to be here. We're surrounded with so much talent, so much amazing art. We're grateful to be able to sort of pull this story together about the African American narrative.
I turned to Robbie and I said, we got to do something. And he said, yeah, we got to do something. I remember saying we have to tell a really powerful story. That's all I kept saying. And when I got back to Boston, there was a moment where Robbie and I were talking on the phone, and just like water, the words, "We Move in Color," came out of my mouth. All of a sudden, these people started saying, "We want to partner with you." First it was Tufts University, then Berklee College of Music, and then Pierre Panek. I was with Paul Goodnight. She said, "We want to do this."
To include comparative art, because everything is in dialogue. That's what We Move in Color is all about.
So we know that the arts reflects our consciousness, challenges our consciousness, stokes our consciousness. It canonizes and institutionalizes our history, but it also gives us a vision, an aspirational one for our future. And so the arts, Black artists, are simply everything and essential in the work of the diaspora and the work of liberation.
Now, therefore, on behalf of Michelle Wu, Mayor of the City of Boston, we do hereby proclaim October 6th, 2022 to be We Move in Color Day.
Everything and more. It was fantastic. Cried. Feel pride watching. We had no idea, but I gotta tell you something. We were blown away from minute one.
It was marvelous. We want more. Collaboration of artists from other places and not just local. Yeah. And then to hear the storytelling with the backdrop of the art, with centered in African culture.
I just love the choreography, the storyline. It tells our story. It's for us, by us, and now people get to see the story. I loved it. It moved in color. I loved it.
If you don't know, you better ask somebody. So look, so I have not said this publicly, but I really want to give a huge shout out to Robbie and Anita. It means more. Success means more when you can share it with somebody. If you do it by yourself, it's like playing with yourself. I don't know how to say it without sounding weird. Look, y'all. Robbie and Anita, when we went to visit them last summer, they really took us around Las Vegas and slowed down. This was the time when we slowed down with them. And I saw a lifestyle in both of them that is admirable. I admire it. It meant more to share the success with them than if I had said, hey, this show that you need to come check it out. We, Robbie, Anita, and myself, I think this started with us having some moments together. And, my wife, Marcia, was there. She contributed by listening because she wasn't in the conversations. She listened, and that's big for me. That's huge. That's the biggest thing I could ever ask. And I really want to say thank you to Robbie and Anita because it's more than a vision. It's more than a vision.
Yeah.
It's like a legacy. It's like a life thing. They could be doing a gazillion other things. So if we can just say thank you to these two giants who didn't just talk the talk, they walked it and put some resources up to make it happen. And that's the real walk. You can go to church, but until you know what I'm saying?
Who's standing up?
That's right. Look at here. You can go to church all you want. There you go. Thank you, Judah. You can go to church all you want, but until you start giving to the church.
Yeah.
Until you start giving to the church, look, you can sit in the pew all day.
Yeah.
Come every Sunday and sit there and listen to some good music and good preaching, but until you give to the church, it ain't happening, right?
Yeah.
So I really want to say thank you to you all. And we, the operative word is we.
Mm-hmm.
We have been given a gift in each other.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And the details will all be ironed out. There's a great scripture that says he will make the rough places smooth or straight.
Mm-hmm.
You just got to keep doing what has been called of you to do. One of the reasons why things fail is because people aren't doing what they're called to do.
Mm-hmm.
When you're called and you do what you're called to do, provision comes.
That's right.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I could go on and on and on, but just wanted to say that publicly. It means everything. It's bigger than what I can tell you when you have people come alongside.
I think I speak for everyone on this Zoom call when I say we love you.
Mm-hmm.
We appreciate you and all of the effort and hard work and the expertise that you poured into this production. Things came alive because of the vision that you guys had. And when we understood the vision, it was easy to get on board.
Yep.
So I say that on behalf of everyone. I haven't talked to everyone ahead of time, of course, but I know that they would say the same thing in their own way if given the opportunity to express that. The other thing I want to say, there's a piece in the production, which I think was one of the more popular spoken word pieces, I'm a Black Man with Love to Give. I was watching and listening, to the audience's reaction on that piece, and it really seemed to resonate. And I want to say that this production sort of symbolizes that for me, that there are Black men who have gifts, who have talents, who have skills, who have anointings inside of them that just need to pour out, and they need people to take the time to allow them to flourish in that. And so for me, as my husband's helpmeet, hello, somebody, the rib, and I'm not talking about no McRib neither. But as the rib, when I saw what you guys were sort of cooking up and understood the vision, I say this to all my sisters on the call, right? Sometimes we have to be the the element that undergirds, you feel me, in order to equip people to do what they need to do, right? So I consider myself someone that was mostly at the inception playing a supporting role in the background. And we'll continue to do that as this thing progresses and we move forward and we go from one city to another, one open door to another. That's what we're called to do in some instances in that capacity, so that other people can do everything that they've been called to do. Hello, somebody.
No, after something like that, all you need to do is just hang up and just go about your business, right? But yes. I want to say two things. First of all, Gen joined us, and I certainly want to hear from Gen before we do anything, right? Right. We got to hear from Gen. But I wanted to just say thank you to Wyatt for, him expressing his appreciation for us, but at the same time, it's mutual. And one of the things I want to do more of, and this is the first go around on We Move in Color, is really paying more attention. I was sort of joking with him that he's taught me about theater and I made him a poet. So it's a little bit of trading spaces a bit. But I think what I'd like to do is to also spend a little bit more time with you guys talking about some other things, the production side of how all of this works. Because I know that at some point you're going to need to know as much. You're a performer today, but tomorrow that's another story. And we'll spend a little bit more time because this is also about empowerment. This is not just about performing, it's about empowering others. And one of the things we're going to do, hopefully we get you guys to come to Vegas, working on some things, in this side of the world. I know. Get you to come by the house and all that other stuff. But all of that, I think, as we look to 2023, the sky's the limit. We know that you all have lives and all of that. So we're going to take everything in stride and make sure we check in, and Wyatt will be, able to sort of work through the details and help you guys figure out what makes sense. But overall, there's a lot of things opening up. And at the end of the day, we want to be ready. We know that this outing wasn't perfect in many respects, but we hope to improve. We've gotten feedback. We've gotten a lot of things, and we understand that. Believe me, we're listening. We're hearing all the feedback. Believe me, all of it. But the good news is we got this 90 to 95% right. And sometimes in life, you got to take out a cigar. You got to do something and celebrate. You got to celebrate what success you have achieved, especially after you put in that much work. So I especially want to say again, Wyatt, thank you for, driving the process, especially on the artistic side. And this would not have happened without that, leadership. And each one of you, a special thank you, name by name. Each one of you guys, again, played such a critical role. I hope you get a chance to see the whole video. We'll do that. We'll make sure you see it because you got to see it. You guys, what you said, was that Judah? Yeah, exactly. You will see it, and we'll make sure that happens. There's a lot of video, and what we want to do is to take the video and utilize it so that we can attract more investment or funding to take this further and further and further, and put this on the calendar in a way that everybody will feel a little bit more comfortable about what they're getting into. So we'll share that with you as time goes on. But again, you did a great job. Judah said Netflix. Believe me, we're looking at streaming. We're looking at opportunities. We're looking at NFTs. This is something I think everyone that's involved in will realize some opportunity, and to increase your branding, to increase who you are. And we're going to highlight people. I think each one of you had moments in this, that people took note of. And so there's a real movement around We Move in Color. So we're going to try to keep that momentum. I'll defer because I definitely want to make sure you guys hear from Gen.
Hi.
Hey.
I missed a lot, so I don't really know what to say. But I'm late because I was in Grammy related committee meetings all day. But one ended early, so I was able to jump in. I just wanted to see everybody, so I miss you guys. It was it was such an amazing week, so I just wanted to jump in and say hi. And I got my hard drive, Robbie, so don't worry. I'm going to start editing the show today. I'm working on it, so it'll all come together soon. But I mostly just, man, I miss you guys, and I hope we're all together again.
Again, what we were doing is reflecting on that specific evening on October 6th. What did it feel like? What was the takeaways, and overall sharing about that night?
Yeah, I mean, again, I'm going to say something I said, I think, at the reception. I was kind of freaking out speaking there, so I don't know exactly what I said. But, most of the time I'm here in this windowless room, just sort of by myself. And that whole week was just such a great reminder of why we make art, period. And it's just been so inspiring for me to just keep going. So I'm just excited. I'm just excited about all the possibilities with this, and I just can't wait to do it again.
Hi, yeah, I'm just coming in from work, traveling. It was an amazing night to see all the hard work come, and mostly the people who showed the love, those who showed the love before the show, and then when the show came together, they were amazed. And I'm so happy to see the audience and the people excited about this. See what the excitement we were excited about. Now they're bringing the excitement and bringing others. And to see us just come together and the colors, because being on stage, you can't really see the pictures in the back. We just performing. So when I seen some of the pictures, I said, wow. I said, the colors, we popped. It looks awesome. It really worked. And I'm so excited for what's to come. And I just want to say thank you, everyone, for bringing your talents and your time and being inspiration, not only to me, but to others. And I can't wait for other ones to see it. I know I have people from down south in Alabama saying they want to see the show. I didn't get to see it. I want to see it. So people down there, they calling. My peoples, they calling.
During the show, it felt just great to be back on stage with, colored people, all colored people. It was, I don't know, just being, together on that stage, and there was people out there watching us from everywhere. The crowd was just awesome. So it was a great feeling on stage. After was just even better, because then it's like I'm seeing who came, I'm seeing everything, and just to know that people, wanted to really come out and support us felt good. But I definitely enjoyed it all.
So I think we've primed the space well enough for me to talk a little bit about the future, just a little bit. I called Destiny the other day to just give her an update on what we, when I say we, I mean Robbie, Gen, myself, Paul and Lou chime in on some of the artistic stuff. And Gen, Robbie and I are what you call the principals of We Move in Color Manager LLC. Okay, so we own the company, and we have partnered with Lou and Paul with this specific piece. What we are thinking is to bring us all back together for a couple of rehearsals. I was originally thinking November, but we're in November now. And when the holidays get coming, people start doing holiday stuff. So I'd like to see if we can do something in between the two holidays, in between Thanksgiving and Christmas, somewhere around there. Just drop a rehearsal in the middle of that in New Jersey, and we have time to break bread together, like a holiday feast or some kind of a way of just celebrating each other and eating together. Okay, that's important. And the church is a wonderful place to do it. It's a wonderful space. So we can always have one of those rooms where we can just set something up and, play a little bit of holiday music and have the warm and fuzzy feelings, along with, of course, getting some time in to rehearse. We're working on that. We will let you know how that plays out. Here's the deal, though. Like I said at the beginning of this meeting, there's a lot of structure that's now being put to this. A lot of structure. Coming from a background of working with shows that were already structured, that is now the goal. So the 2 Broadway shows that I've done and the 2 tours I've done were already structured. Things were already in place. The contracts were structured. Rehearsals were structured. Who did what was structured. And so that's the goal with us. That's the number one goal that we have, is to structure this entity so that you all come in clear. Everything is clear. You know what your role and responsibility is. You already know the show. So now it's just a matter of getting that structure, that model clear so that you all come in, hit, go home, come back, hit, go back, and we'll make it that kind of a show where you can drop into it, have a day of rehearsal, and then do the show. Okay. That's my background. So I'm focused on that. So the number one goal that I have is to continue to tell this story with radiance and vibrancy. That's it. That's my lane, and I'm going to stay in it. Okay. Now, the great feedback that I got from the choreographers, we'll go into that. The great feedback I got from J.R. Glover from Jacob's Pillow, we'll go into that. The great feedback that I got from Diane Walker. We spent 2 hours the other day really drilling down on the story, and all that feedback is going into the canon. No one said take anything away. No one said don't do that or don't do this. They all said add this, and add this. And they all said you have a hit show. All these major folks, Diane Walker included. Now, she had some thoughts about how to get the twins engaged in a piece, a tap dance piece after the gospel piece in second act. But that was her just being creative, because Diane likes to get in there. You know how she is. She likes to get in there and talk it through and have a good time talking about it. These are things that can be changed, tweaked. No problem. Okay. So I want you all to know that the feedback has been absolutely what we need to push this thing into the stratosphere. And that's my number one goal as story designer, is to do exactly that. Robbie's in his lane, Gen is in his lane, I'm in my lane. And that's the most important thing. Everything that you all experienced that you all had some concerns about, trust me, we got that. We heard you all loud and clear. Those are going to be dealt with. Once again, structure put in place so that everything is clear. Last thing I'll say, because I had a bunch of notes, but I'll zone it into this last one thing. Prioritize your lives now differently with everything that you're doing. Prioritize differently. If you're staying out late, this is my putting my uncle or father hat on for a minute. Staying out late, not taking care of yourself, go home early. Eat well, sleep well. Read some positive books. Go to church. Find some folks to pray with. Find some folks to just talk things through with. If you're having some time of difficulty, talk to someone. Don't be shy about your mental and emotional health. Find someone. Because what I'm going to tell you is something that was told to me just the other day. This is it. You don't come this way twice. Make the most of every day. Get away from people who complain. Get around problem solvers. Stay away from negative people. Find positive people. Period. All right?
Yep.
All right, y'all.
Good seeing everybody.
Take care.
Thank you. Have a good evening.
Bye.